issues, but it won't be a Teachmeet without one. I just want to welcome you all first of all to Heathrow Primary School. I've been dying to hold one of these for so long, and we were supposed to do one in the summer term, but the strike day coincided with the events that were postponed, so I'm really proud to have you all here. And I want to say thank you to my staff as well. We worked really hard getting things ready behind the scenes as well, getting pasties ordered and things like that for half time. So there are as well, because it's a Bolton event, I thought we'd do it properly. So when you have your pasty, there are some barn cakes at the back. You need to have a pasty bar. And we'll be taking photos of everyone. Alright, so I just want to say welcome. It's going to be roughly about 8 o'clock we finish, we'll be breaking in the middle. And I just want to thank the staff as well for all the work they've done getting set up, so thank you very much for that. I'm going to pass over to Dougal now, so I'm going to just do a little bit of background about Teachmeet. Just for those who haven't been before, so if you've never been to a Teachmeet before, and learn a little bit more start.
Thanks, David. I organised a Teachmeet just over a year ago, and there was a chap that came along who was quiet, he didn't seem to know anyone, he was sitting on his own and minding his own business, which is not allowed, by the way, at Teachmeet, because it's not just about what happens up here, it's about what happens out there and wider, but I'll come on to that in a minute. And that non-assuming character sitting on his own at Teachmeet, Yorkshire and Humberside in Doncaster last year was David Mitchell. And he stood up halfway through the session when his name came up on the thing, and our jaws hit the floor because of the amazing things that he shared with us and the stories that he told about the learning that was happening with children here at Heathfield. And his influence has gone on and on and on. I don't need to tell you about that. So it was absolutely brilliant and a privilege to be here at David's Teachmeet here at Heathfield. I'm a massive fan of Teachmeet because it brings together people who are interested in learners and in learning. And look at this, on a wet Friday evening in Bolton, we've got a room full of people who are really passionate and interested in making learners' experiences better. And you're going to be party to some wonderful stuff tonight. You're very lucky to be in the room. We also have people joining us from all over the world. There are people tuning in to this event in Australia, the United States, New Zealand. Hello everyone, they're the other end of that camera. Or hello Mum, and Vicky as well. Importantly, and I think this is quite significant, I don't know if this has happened before, there's a room in Plymouth at the university packed full with trainee teachers who've themselves gathered together at 5:30 on a Friday evening to find out more about how to make learners' experiences better. That makes my heart sing. We're going to try and do, later on, a kind of, you know, the Eurovision, and now we'll cross over to Plymouth. So hopefully, when we do the live crossover to Plymouth, we'll be able to see the excitement on their faces.
I'm not going to vote for the presentation.
Well, we'll have to see. Just while we're on that, traditionally, Teachmeet has been an opportunity for people to come and share stuff that works. Now, it doesn't have to be technical, it's just stuff that works. Stuff you've done in your classrooms that's worked with learners. That's what it's about, sharing the interesting stuff. This isn't new either. Ever since my first experiences in the classroom myself, people have gone into the staff room, haven't they, and said, "You'll never guess what's just happened in my classroom." Well, this is the same, only it's amplified a little bit louder. Now, what you're going to experience tonight is people sharing those amazing stories of things and interesting things that they're doing in their classrooms. Is there anyone here that's on Twitter or who uses Twitter? Pop your hands up. Okay, lots of you. I will ask you, please, tonight, to comment on what you're seeing in the presentations, but more than that, you know how creative and interesting teachers are? You'll see people showing you things, and in your mind you will think, "Oh, I know how I could use that." And it might be subtly different, or it might be completely different to what the practitioner is sharing with you, will you please share those thoughts using the #TMBolton hashtag, so that we can curate a whole load more ideas, new ideas that have come out of your brains for other people to access afterwards. So if you think it's a good idea, say that's a good idea. If you think you might use it in a different way, say that. The other thing I would like us to do, if we get an opportunity tonight, is a bit more, I suppose it's the analogue equivalent of Web 2. We don't want this to be something where it's all delivered to you without you having an opportunity to interact. So if we can, we'll try and fit in opportunities for you to ask questions and talk to each other. Now, I know what you've done, and you've done that thing that kids do when they all sit. You've all sat with your mates. I can see it already. Now, that's okay, because there's a security element to that, and you feel, that you want to sit near people you know. Well, I challenge you tonight, and this goes to all of you in the room, to speak to at least one person that you haven't spoken to before ever. And it might just be to say, oh, I really like that thing that Jim Maloney shared with us. Or, oh, that idea of, just, will you do that in the real world? Share, and introduce yourself to someone you've never met before. Because I know that some of the best experiences and learning and the best professional development I've ever had was in the coffee breaks and during the time when you go for lunch, where you meet with other professionals and you talk about your practice. Because that's what Teachmeet's all about as well. So we'll try and build in a lot of that as well. The most brilliant thing about Teachmeet is about to happen, and that's people getting It was only Oliver to say, Dougal, get off. Yeah. I'm feeling particularly hot, actually.
Milk one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that. But the most important thing is about to happen. The most important thing is practitioners passionately sharing wonderful, interesting things about what they do in their classrooms. By the way, if you don't know... Bring it on, hit the thing.
Yeah, right, well, ready to start. So, the great thing about Teachmeet is that it's random. No one knows who's going to come up next, and so we are using a random name generator, which I found today, which is really cool. So, we just click it and then we'll roll and choose someone. Say how many minutes they're going for. It's tradition in me that ends up first. Right, well, the 7-minute presentation I'm doing is hopefully alongside Mike Corbett live on the blog tonight, and he's travelling home on a train from London at the minute, so it's going to have to be after 7 o'clock that one. So if it comes up again in 7 minutes, I'll rerun it again.
It wouldn't be the same if David's name didn't come out.
No.
Pete Richardson video press.
Okay, peace. It's not on that. I'm going to get that sorted. I'll do another one in time.
Ian Mills, 7 minutes.
Ian Mills, where's Ian?
He disappeared out that door. Just so you know, this isn't unusual. Oh, the other thing is, when we are having these technical problems, talk amongst yourselves. That's what it's for. Ian, you should be up doing the presentation. Are you ready?
Yes.
I haven't introduced everyone actually to the Teachmeet camel. It's traditional at Teachmeet that if people exceed the allotted time for their talk, they have a camel thrown in their general direction. That's true for people that begin to go over the 7 minutes. It's also true if you pitch or try to sell a commercial product. So watch out, everybody. I've got a soft camel and I've got a hard camel. So So you have been warned. Ian.
I'll be quick. First time presenting, so please be nice. My name is Ian Mills. I work for the schools like Teachmeet in Bolton. I'm a techie. So if I start talking techie, I'm guessing I'm going to get one of these to run. So I'll try not to. I'm here because I'd like to talk to you about the Xbox Connect and its potential within the classroom. I've been fortunate the last few months to be able to take my own Xbox Connect into a couple of schools. Basically just doing a bit of enhanced golden time. We just get a variety of games up, split them up into teams. They have a lot of fun. I then speak to the teacher afterwards and see what it's like, and the feedback's been really good. It was really, engrossed engaged in the whole physical getting up and doing things. Whether it's working out a maths equation on the board and then finding the answer by moving around, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it's a PowerPoint presentation. I did think about bringing the whole Connect up, but with all the other stuff we've been doing, I didn't have time, I'm afraid. Games. It's about games, but there's lots of other stuff, but primarily about the games. We've all probably seen brain training. You work out the answer, you draw it or you write it or something like that. The body and brain connection takes that a step further by you actually answer with your body. So if it's a football, you're kicking a football into the goal, you kick the right number and you score. Or whether it's the clock, you see it, I did a lot of this is one of my favourites because you actually have to take the cards and control your arms independently, which is really difficult to do, so you'll be able to try it. But there's other options. I have notes because I've done a lot of research. So what I was taking into the classroom, I'm not a teacher, so I take it in from the fun aspect, just getting people up. It's really rewarding when you see a child who doesn't want to do it at first, but at the end he's wants to do it more. It's really good fun. But some other teachers and professional people have done lots with it. For example, Tom Barrett did connectables in the classroom, took small groups of children and then let them play the game. It's all about cute teddy bears. You got that. And you play the games, and then he recreated the whole environment within the classroom. Creativity. Connected ventures. That's about teamwork, working together. You score points. From there, you can just create graphs or do various maths things with it. U-Star, it's got a team rating, but if you're careful with the selection of the movies, you can play out popular scenes and perhaps do a different twist to it, do it in like a Shakespearean language or something like that. Very popular in the last session was Just Dance. This is a group of kids you can't see it very well in Cleveland. Basically, the whole class dances to Just Dance. I've seen it in the classroom where we've previously done something with a song that they knew very well. So I had half the class singing and half the class dancing. It was very fun. The head teacher was there and everything. Tried to get them up, but they wouldn't have it. You can see the darts, bowling, all the variety of maths things you can do with that. The darts, how many darts does it take to finish? Throw a dart, see what happens. Very recently, Microsoft released a game called Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster. That's all about life learning. That's the most curriculum and that. It's all about helping people and things like that. But besides the games, there's various activities you can do with Connect. You can build a buddy. So say someone's built a robot within the class, you can scan it into Connect and then turn it into real life, give it a personality, jumping around and talking to it, things like that. Sparkler takes a 3D image and you can move around with your sparkles and create a draw. Airband is pretty much just a bit of fun, running in and out, you can do something with music. And Connect Me, you can dress up and it basically takes you and scanning your shoes and computer into the Connect. Microsoft are taking this further. They're actually introducing TV channels, interactive TV channels. So Sesame Street, everybody knows Sesame Street, like learning. They're creating a TV channel, which is coming to the UK, where children can interact with that program. So rather than watching it and learning in that way, you actually physically get up and doing things with it. Same with the National Geographic. They're doing a similar thing where you can interact with the animals and do puzzles and things like that.
1 minute.
Okay. Even more potential, you can connect. You can connect the Connect to the PC and do a variety of things. For example, finger painting, see inside your body. There's beta videos out there where you can stand in front of the Connect, it draws a circle in your body and actually shows you the inside. All structure your muscles, essentially. Well, it's actually really good. Fly through the solar system using Connect. In your hands, you can fly out and look at the planets, zoom into them, find out information about them, learn about them in an interactive way. You're there, you're doing it. Become a superhero, one of my favourites. You do actions and you can become a superhero. Children can use that to go away and create their own superheroes, for example. Augmented reality, there's various videos on that. 2 more. Connect quiz and possibility to replace your whiteboard. There's a lot of resources. Google it. Connected classroom. Now go and get connected.
Presentation. I'm really pleased people have risen to the challenge and are tweeting ideas based on Ian's presentation there. Ian didn't say anything about, or did you say anything about special needs children in particular?
No.
However, Bev Evans has said, I can see how using the Connect would help pupils with SEN gain social skills through teamwork and taking turns, etc. What a great example of someone amplifying and adding to the message from the presentations that we've got going on. Turn to someone near you and discuss Ian's presentation just while David...
I'm Chris May, I work at Bolton Primary School, which is a school in Bradford. And I've recently been seconded for 1 day a week to work at the Innovation Centres in Bradford to roll out a project I'm going to talk to you about very briefly now. My presentation is called How to Get a Job, even if you're only 10. But it probably should be called How to Get a Job as a Digital Leader, even if you're only 10. Or possibly 8 or 9, actually. And this is it, and it's going to take me, I'm going to talk for maybe 3 minutes, and there's a video in the middle as well, which is absolutely beautiful. So step 1, how you get a job in the real world, is you to see a job advert. Here's a job advert. What is a digital leader? This is the job advert that a child, one of our current digital leaders, wrote about 4 weeks ago, something like that, written by a child. My absolute favourite one is bullet point number 1, 2, 3, 4. We do speeches worldwide, so you need to be confident. That came off the back of us going to Teachmeet Blackpool. So Blackpool is technically worldwide, I'll give you that. That's fine. That's okay, they can have that. Step 2, you to apply for the job. That seems fair. This is what we all do as adults. If we want a new job, we see the advert, we apply for the job. So this is what our children did. They applied for the job. This is the application form. This is beautiful. This is a response from one of our children. Hopefully you can read that okay at the back, I don't know. read out for the people on the screen, Chris? Good plan. I'll have to stand over here. So it says, why do you want to be a digital leader at Bolton Park? I am a responsible and organised person. I will be able to help without any problem. I think that if I am given a chance to become a digital leader, I will be able to improve my skills and become more confident in activities. I am good at helping people with their work. The application form is written by a boy called Sahil, who is one of our digital leaders we've had since January. Here's another one. This is from a boy in Year 5 who says, I'd like to be a digital leader because I'd like to help other kids learn and I think I can become a good role model. Thank you. It's polite too. My favourite thing about this one is this is one of those kids that doesn't do writing. He doesn't do writing, yet he's elected himself to write this and send it to me. So maybe he does do writing actually. Step 3, once you apply for a job, you need to get shortlisted for an interview. Not everyone who has the time to write some stuff on a piece of paper and hand it in on time gets to go for an interview. So we did that, and we gave this timetable. We spent 4 hours, me and 3 children, shortlisting these children for interview. And we put this timetable on the door of the room where the interviews are going to take place and in their own classrooms. Which leads us very, very nicely to step 4. He says, arrive on time for interview. 10-year-olds are really, really, really quite harsh individuals. If you are late, you don't get the job. Fair enough, it's the real world. I'm going with that. I'm happy with that. And step 5 then is to have your interview. This is the bit where I stop talking for a short period of time and think more about the fact that I need to have a wee. This video clip is 3 minutes long, and if we get the sound up here, is the sound alright there? This will do all the talking that is necessary. These are just some snippets from the interviews that took place a couple of weeks ago. He says,
drawing on the computer, typing, one online, and a lot. Playing games, making games. My favorite thing is playing games and going on the blog. Share your ideas, but get everybody to know your ideas, and you can make a big idea out of them little ideas. Cause if I share my ideas with other people, then maybe they'll get really good at it, and they might share their ideas with other people as well. I've been responsible by handing in the iPods, taking the computers back, putting the books away, and have you got any other jobs in the class? Yeah, I've just went to the library and selling books. Well, I've been responsible because I'm in charge of putting the netbooks away, and I'm always really plugging them in and not just putting them in and not plugging them in.
So that's what they did. And two great things about this are that all of those questions were written by digital leaders. I had literally no involvement at all. Even down to the minutiae of the wording, they wrote, not me. And applicants were advised to dress smartly and act professionally, which I think you'll admit that they did do quite well. Step 6 then is just hope to God that you've been successful after having to go through that when you're 8 or 9 or 10. As a result, we did this. 38 people applied for the job. 18 children were interviewed, and just 7 were appointed. And it was absolutely stunning. The process that the children went through was just stunning. Give it a go. Thank you.
Just while we're getting things sorted, I'd just like to quote to you from not only a digital leader, but a Teachmeeter of the future. She said these words: share your ideas, they'll get really good at it, and then they'll share their ideas with other people too. Such insight in one so young. Fantastic. Really good, because empowering those young people, we know that works really well. Relevant stuff for their lives, and real life. Chris, that's phenomenal. Who's up next, David?
Marie O'Sullivan, 7 Min.
Marie needs a volunteer.
No, well, I need just 2 handouts and bits.
I'll be the volunteer.
Just while Marie gets set up, tell someone near you what was something you really liked about Chris's presentation. A little chat about that.
Presentation, then we're going to head live to Plymouth. And then we're going to have a break because the pastors are here and warm. So we'll do that, and then we'll have a break and we'll carry on. We'll slightly along the second half. So I'm going to pass over now. Thank you very much for volunteering.
No, that's okay. Hello, everybody. Can I have a quick show of hands? Who's secondary and secondary? You could just do a little wave. And primary. Right, okay. I am at Meeting High on Twitter. I used to teach in secondary schools until July, and now I'm not teaching in school, but I'm still working in the education field. So what I'm going to do today is, it's going to be on my blog there if you want to go and have a look at stuff around it. And unfortunately I'm going to get you to do something. So I hope that's all right. How many of you use or know about collaborative learning strategies or use them more? One or two of you, okay? Forgive me if you know them then. This is something that I use, I have used for three reasons, really. The first one is, as a school we used it to help organise group work. You know, you put kids in a group and say, right, do this, and sometimes I used to find it would disappear, especially because I used to teach languages. So I don't know what this word is, and I get stuck and stop. We put them, by giving them these types of activities, it meant that everybody was involved, that there weren't any hogs or logs, that one person could sit back and let the clever kid do it. And also, we used it an awful lot to develop social skills, because we had quite a mix of backgrounds, ethnicity. So it was a way of getting children to work together without them, as whoever it was said, sitting with their friends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about a little activity, let's skip that, which is called number test together. That's what we're going to do. So the first thing I want you to do is that you're sitting more or less in tables of 4. Could you just give yourself a number? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're in a 5, just do it 5 or 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's start there. Right. When you are setting up your classroom, I've got 7 minutes. Okay. When you're setting up your classroom, obviously everybody's expected, but I try and make it set if you're facing the front door so that you can actually get people around the table. And try and seat yours, and I'm not going to ask which one of you is which, but try and sit your pupils so that you have a high achiever, diagonally opposite the low achiever. I'm not making eye contact. And then you've got your 2 middle achievers sitting like that. And the reason for that is that you are actually getting your pupils to engage either with this way or that way. And you've got a range of abilities so that pupils will support each other, but that your very high achiever and your low achiever never really have to interact one-to-one, but as part of the group they will. And that actually works more as a working pair, but we're going to work in 4. So I'm going to set you a question for my numbered heads together, and you're all a number now. And this is how it works. You've got a piece of paper in front of you, show a scrap piece of paper. Mini whiteboard is best, but I couldn't carry it. I'm going to ask you a question without speaking to anybody else on your table, otherwise you go and sit in the naughty corner. Right? I want you to give your best answer to the question. You might know the answer to the question, you might not have a clue. But I'm going to give you just a very short amount of time to write your answer to the question that I'm going to set. And we'll see what kind of question you can make it answer. So my question is this: can you name any 5 actors who have played Doctor Who? On your own, no talking. On your own, no talking. No talking. I don't care if you don't watch Doctor Who. Your best answer. People are talking. I'm going to get really cross and throw a camel. Okay, but I appreciate you haven't had enough time really to think about it in a class. I would give you more time to do that. When you come up with your answer, what I want you to do is I would like you to stand up. Stand up a little bit. Lean into your table. I'm using you because you're right. And I would like you to discuss as a group and then sit down when you each have the same group answer on your piece of paper. The standing up, sitting down helps me, but also helps me to keep you ready. You don't have to stand up. I usually get the ones to do that. Okay, I'm going to give you a little time. Group Doctor Who when I asked the question. How do you feel about having an answer now? Feel alright about it? Yeah? Who doesn't know anything about Doctor Who? Do you feel like you had something to say to me? If I can just quickly recap on the reasons behind doing this before I give you the answer, just to keep you. What happens is, you've got pupils helping others. Now, on one table, you have Doctor Who and anthropology, non-Doctor Who. But it could be any subject. And without putting any pressure on anybody to give an answer, everybody is involved, everybody has an opinion, and even the weakest pupil can offer their answer. Nobody else may know that they didn't know anything about it. Plus, they've learned from the people around them. There are other activities that I do. So that's one. I give an example of 3 things or 4 things and say which is the odd one out and why. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Every table could have something different and it would be fine. I usually give the examples of Franco, Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, and someone will say, oh, one of them did have a moustache, or one of them was taller than the other. I don't know. One of them was communist, the other 3 weren't. There are lots of different answers, they're all correct. It's about investigating that with your pupils a little bit. Or I might give them 3 or 4 words and ask them to put them in the language sheet, put them into a grammatically correct sentence. They can be as daft as you like. But you've got to, as a group, make a sentence out of that. But remember, time on your own first, then group work, and then you share your group answer. In case you were wondering at all, these are the 11 from the television. Just in case anybody said from the night pushing, etc. Please do visit the blog. It's a bit languagey if you're not languagey. Thank you.
Another great Teachmeet presentation. Actual, practical, something you can use on Monday. Thank you ever so much, Marie, that's wonderful. We're now going to try and do the live link up with Plymouth. Plymouth, if you can hear us, we're going to ask you, with your wonderful trainee teachers, to come up with some contributions to our Teachmeet here. Some of your thoughts, reflections and responses to the presentations that we've had, and possibly some ideas that have been generated but that haven't been spoken about explicitly in Bolton. How are we doing, David?
Talk for another 30 seconds.
Talk amongst yourselves. I say. Why are there no aspirins in the jungle? Because the paracetamol. Paul's just going through.
We haven't got any sounds here.
Well, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's the Eurovision cheer? Fantastic.
We lost your video, unfortunately.
All right, yeah, you'll lose that for the next 2 minutes. We're just interested to know what you've heard and any points you've got to make about how your students might use anything that they've heard in practice. Anyone got anything to say?
Just come over here just to make sure they can hear you. Thank you. Here we go.
Hello. My name's JC. I'm a fourth year BA student at the University of Plymouth. And I was really interested in Ian Mills, in his presentation about the Xbox Connect. I have a question though. Is there a particular way that you organise the lesson? Do you, for example, take a group out of the classroom with another adult, or do you have it in the classroom so you can still supervise it?
Ian's just coming over, JC.
Yes, basically I split the class up into 6 teams of 5, give them all a sticker that said like driver or puzzler or dancer, and then just brought them all up, a couple at a time, 4 at a time, and just give them scores and worked out a winner at the end, and they got certificates in the assembly.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Hello. Good evening, Bolton. Hi, I've got a question for Chris Mayer about his digital leadership.
Yes, I'm coming, I'm here. I've had a wee now, so I feel better. Hello.
You hear me? Hello. I was just wondering, your digital leaders have you created a curriculum, and I was wondering how you timetable it within the week. Do you teach it discretely, or like in a more cross-curricular way within other lessons, maybe through thematic lesson?
2 aspects to it really. Number 1 is that we have completely out of the normal timetable, 1 hour a week meetings where I will meet with the team of digital leaders to help them to skill themselves up at a particular topic or piece of technology, something like that. And then they will, whenever we feel it is necessary, they will then go into normal curriculum lessons, say during topic or maths or English or anything else, and apply those skills. So one of the things we're working towards at the moment is to improve their skills at blogging and being able to do slightly more technical things with blogging rather than just commenting and writing their own posts. So they're going to go in next week to support a topic session in Year 5 in the afternoon to apply the skills that we'll during one of our meetings. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's true. So it just makes it easier to access more practice. Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Okay. Is that it, Oliver?
Okay, I think I might be it for now. I sort of wanted to say something that I think came out of that. Talking about the digital leaders, which loads of people are doing, like Chris Mayer and Ian Addison and Dan Stark in secondary. I was just having a quick Google and I found a blog post suggesting that the SSAT and Toshiba were really jumping on this digital leaders thing. And I think this is kind of quite interesting because we're also seeing Microsoft taking on the Teachmeet model. And I'm quite interested in what people's thoughts are about these kind of self-organised, very grassroots movements being, having big companies getting involved in them. Do you think that's something that's positive, showing support, or do you think it's something that's potentially a bit of a problem?
How long have you got?
Well, it's risky, isn't it? I mean, that's the same thing regarding even Teachmeets. You know, we've got the same thing regarding grassroots, levelling up from the bottom up organisations, and yeah, we've got the digital leaders, which has emerged from a various number of schools. And Toshiba, for example, Microsoft, like you say. I don't know, Chris, do you want to add anything to that regarding the corporate element to your ideas and things?
I think it's largely completely unnecessary, to be honest with you. It is something that should develop organically within your own organisation. If you as an educator and your students have got a passion and enthusiasm for it, you will drive it regardless of sponsorship or funding from anywhere.
Yeah, and I think what the message is really that every school is completely different, with different needs from different teachers, with different children, so it's going to be difficult for companies to put an umbrella over that without, you know, complicating things.
Maybe you could blog about it, Oliver, and we'll leave some comments.
Good idea. I'm sure I will.
All right, well, we're going to leave you for pasties now, and we're going to take about 20 minutes or so, just on a break, and then we'll be back online again.
Don't just jump up to go for pasties, Bolton.